Hi there, this is Jermaine Kibidu, and welcome again to another video tutorial. And this time I want to cover just a progression which is very common. It is the 2-5-1 progression. I'm going to show 5 different ways how you can play the 2-5-1, starting from a beginner that has no bass player with it, as well as when you do have a bass player. So let's start off with the first one. This is the one without a bass player, and very basic, by the way. 2, 5, 1. Okay, so we are in the key of C. So first let's look at the number system and the scale. So we all are familiar with this starting out. So it's C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and then back to the 1. So the first chord is on the 2. So all I have in my left hand is the D bass, and you can throw in the A as well. So it's D, A, D. On my right hand I have F, A, C, and then to the 5, which is on my left hand, G, D. Right hand I have G, B, D, and to the 1, which is just C. On my left hand, G and C again. On my right hand I have E, C, G, sorry, C. So that's the first beginner way that you can play a 2-5-1. The second way for the beginner is a bit more jazzy. This is a D minor 9, I believe. Yes, it is. So I have on my left hand it is D, A, D. On my right hand I have F, A, C, and E. Right? Now people can either go like this, which is a first, or like that, and this is a G7, right? I think it's a G7. So let me just explain this. On the left hand I have G, D. On my right hand I have F, B, and E. But you can play sort of a grace note from A to B like that, right? And then you end on the 1. Right, so let me show this chord. My left hand I have C, G, C. On my right hand I have E, G, B, and D. Okay, so that would sound like this. Okay, so now for those that do have a bass player and they want 2-hand chords, we can build on that 2-5-1 that I just showed by looking at this. Right? So the first chord in my left hand is F, A, C, E. In my right hand I have G, C, E. And then to the 5. Right? Now we have F, A, B, E, and in my right hand I have G, B, D, but we play that grace note again from the A to the B, right? And then we go back to the 1. So the 1 chord in my left hand I have E, G, B, D. In my right hand I have E, G, and C, right? So that's the third way of looking at that 2-5-1. The fourth way is playing that same chord as we did earlier on the 2, but on the 5, instead of playing the 7, we use this chord. I think it's a minor 9, I'm not sure, I'm not too familiar with the chord names. But for my left hand on the 5, I have F, I have G sharp, I have C and D, and I repeat that same chord in the right hand, F, G sharp, C and D, right? But if you were to stay long on this chord, right, you can add this in there. Okay? Okay. So let me just show you that on the right hand. This is all over the 5. So the first would be a melody, F, G, and then we go up to the G sharp chord. So this would be on my right hand, D, F, G sharp, and we come down to the second chord, which is C, E, G, and then to the third chord, which is G sharp, C, F, and then the fourth chord, which is G, C, E, and then we play that last chord again and to the melody. You can add that melody to go to the one which is C, B, C. Okay, that's the fourth way. Now the last way, it's sort of like a bluesy type 2-5-1, which I don't use a lot, but I thought I would add it. Right? So on the 2, I have for my left hand F sharp, C, E, and for my right hand I have B, E, G sharp, B, and then you just come chromatically down to that 5, which for my left hand I have F, B, and D sharp. For my right hand I have A sharp, I have D sharp, I have G and A sharp again, and then you end on the 1 sounding like this. Okay, so for my left hand on the 1 I have an E, an A sharp or B flat, and a D. For my right hand I have A, D, F sharp or G flat, and an A. Right? So that would sound like this. Sounds very sweet, but more for jazzy setup, right? So maybe just something else that you can do on the 2. Okay, so all I did there was I went chromatically down with the third intervals to get to an E major chord. This is an E major chord, right? So those movements down is for my right hand on the 2, it is B and D, and you just move down to B flat or A sharp, and D flat, and then A, C, and G sharp and B. Okay. Okay, and there we go. There is 5 different ways that you can play the 2-5-1s. I'm sure that there's more ways that I haven't discovered yet, but that's very common, and I think you would use that a lot. So yeah, thanks for watching and have fun.